So we are still learning in the Hakavanot, and this is like an intro to the next drush, which we're not going to be able to do because we're going to switch into Sphira. But we'll see how far we go. It's how much we can learn about this. And we're talking about Zer Anpin. Our question is Zer Anpin. Zer Anpin is non-spatial. It's not in a spatial situation as we understand it. See, so not only is he up and down, there's the light flowing from the top to the bottom, but also the light is radiating in duplications going outwards, away from the source of light. It's a different kinds of refraction. So Nimsa Dehidech Bechatzmus is Zer Anpin in himself. Yesh lo Shnei Partsufim. Koladem Mushlomim. So he has two complete Partsufim. Shaar Betzad Atzmuso. Yeshlo nefesh v'ruach mushlomim. He has a complete neranchi of both nefesh and ruach. Shehem nekroim shisha kitzvot shehem nai b'chagat. That is nefesh. Excuse me. Let's see. Nefesh. No, when I got this wrong. Chayah is netzachod yisod. Thank you. V'chesed gevur and teferes. Those six are called nai chagat, and they're looked at in a vertical sense or in an outside sense. Either way, as one inside of the other, that is the Chagat is the more panimi part. But they're both considered to be katnas, as he said previously, but nimsa mitzad atzmusa, so it comes out from its own essence, looking at it. Yesh lo chasar in the Rantchi, it has 10 Rantchis individually too. He's a mushlomim, they're all complete. The hardy parts of nefesh aklali yesh chamisha pamim Rantchi, there's 5 Rantchi there. Of the parts of Ruach HaKlali, Yesh Lo Chamisha, the Rantchi, also Mushlomim, which are all complete. V'chabetzarek L'kabel Melamala Ol Chamisha also in the Rantchi, but he has to pick up another 15 the Rantchi. So I'm going to give you 25 the Rantchi. Chamisha the Rantchi v'Yisrael Salva Tevuna Chanikru the Shama Klali. V'Ol Chamisha the Rantchi Me'abba v'Ima G'Elon Shahem Chaya. V'od chamisha the Rantchi me'erik ma'arich, which is yechida. V'hinech b'kol hamshacha v'hamshacha. All the different streams. Let me get this up here a little bit better. 1 second. So he says, where are we? The shema klali v'od chamisha v'hinech b'kol hamshacha v'hamshacha. Shalom. Everything that's pouring into Zer Anpin, pouring in mochin kololis, mochin the abba mochin the ima, so all of that, all of the mochin of abba v'ima come in. Ella the anuk medan mochin the ima. But in other words, he wants to let us know that whenever it says mochin the ima, it also means mochin the abba, because Abba is inside of Ima all the time. Kevin she'abba gonis, he's hidden. Why? Because the light of Abba is tremendously powerful. Remember, these are lights of no thing. They are not physical lights, so they have a negative quality in relationship to physicality. So therefore, for it to become more physical, it needs to be closed. In the Rantchi, parts of the Shama HaKlali. Harehem be'emes asar in the Rantchi, so we see that there's 5 in the Rantchi. Chamisha me'Yisrael Saba v'chamisha mitavuna. Don't forget this. Kashimekabel chamisha in the Rantchi, when he gets the 5 in the Rantchi, the parts of Chaya Haklali, Heim Gam came asar. There's going to be 10 over here too. Now let's see how he's piling these in. Chamisha me'Abba Eloyin v'chamisha me'Ima Eloyin. Remember that Abba's hidden inside of Ima. And the Rantchim parts of Yechida, also that same thing. Aklali, Hare Hamasar, there's going to be 10 the Rantchis there too. So now we got the 50. Chamisha Meduchra, Derek the Arich, V'chamisha the Nuk Derek the Arich. V'nimsa shall la'amiso shall davar tzarak hazal the kabel od shlosha madrega shall mochin ad shuyush lamo bo kol madregas the Rantchi koladim, etc. So he says shemos hamochim the katnas v'gadlus. So let's go through the names. He wants to know what are they called, the mochim, the katnas, and gadlus. He said Rabbi Bekol madrega hare shnei the Rantchi hitzanim shehem katnas v'hem shemos elokim. So always in every Rantchi, you have a you have a nefesh and a ruach. That's going to be the outside part, and they're called by the name Elokim. So the Elokim goes whether we're talking about the mochim themselves, which are pinimi, or the levushim, which are surrounding them. Either way, they're Elokims. Bein b'Yisrael Saba u'bein to the Vunas. Again, Yisrael Saba is the male aspect of this bina, and Tavuna is the female aspect. V'shlosha penimim shehem hagadlus. Now, when you get to gadlus, yesh bechem ekya v'chavaya shalovshim hu shahalovesh hu ekya. So that which is clothed is going to be the ekya. That's going to be the outside part. V'hamochim atzmim hem havaya. So now this is more a breakdown of that you have in the Rishas. It shows it clearly that the makif, or that surrounding part, is going to be an ekya, and what's inside of it is going to be havaya. Now let's see how this goes. The havaya is apparently coming from a much higher place. Bir, inyan, katnas, v'gadlus, rishon, sheni, v'shlishi. Let's go talk about these. Who parts of the neshama miyisrael sabat tavunus, and that's the immediate connection of zer anpin to a higher world. Shaar v'nefesh ruach kolalim, or klalim, yesh bo metachilas yitzira, so that he has the nefesh and ruach from the very beginning of his formation. There are madregas, there are madregas, one is katnas, one is godless. Because ultimately he's going to give it the complete Narantki from Yisrael Savatavuna, which is the aspect of Neshama. Rock as a nefesh or ruach, but when he gets only those two lower parts, again, Chagat Nai, Shal on Neshama, Katnas, that is the level of Katnas. You're getting it from the same source, as the source of godless comes from the same place as godless come from. When he gets the penimius, godless, that's what we call godless. ARI parts of a neshama b'Yisrael Savatavuna nikros rishon. He says what? When we say he says a madregas agadlos hine hare kol hamshachos parts of a neshama miyisrael savatavuna nikra rishon. That's always going to be called, whatever is coming out of Yisrael savatavuna is going to be called rishon. Shu hamshacha harishona shemamshichin lo. That's the original hamshacha that is poured into zeranpin. V'hamshacha ma'aba ve'im b'chelohim nikra sheni. So that when it comes to the higher level, which is Abba V'im B'Cheloyin, it's going to be called the Sheni. So the first one is the first Hamshacha, and then a higher level of Shach is called Sheni. V'Hamshacha Me'erek Nikros Shlishi, and he mentioned earlier that happens only on Shavuos. V'im Kain, so if that's the case, HaKatnu Shal parts of a Neshama, this katnas, which we say is the parts of the neshama, shehema, nefesh, ruach, the neshama, which is that area which is called the nefesh and the ruach of the neshama. Nikroim katnas rishon, so that's going to be called katnas rishon. Behem shemos elokim. Ukashamamshichem as a neshama chai yechidecha b'shechol, the neshama nikras godless rishon is going to be called godless rishon if it's coming from that level, from the level. Now, again, he said earlier that the Yisrael Savatavuna is always being mashpiyah to Zer Anpin, because as the elevator goes up, the bottom goes up, that's Zer Anpin, but also the top, which is Yisrael Savatavuna, is also moving up. Ve'ein mochin the chavayos. This is the way I understand it. V'od shalom madregas hakatnas, and furthermore, when we get to the madrega called katnas, the handle the nefesh and ruach, that level of nefesh and ruach, which is katnas, anakordim kitzonius, we use another name for it, we call it kitzonius. The madregas are godless, but when we talk to godless, the hindach of the neshama chayin yechida, as we call them anu korim osam penimius. So when we come to this, so in other words, this is the substitution of names that could be understood in different contexts. We call it inyan hazeh. When we speak of this whole inyan, the same way comes when the origin of the light is highlighted in Abba Ve'im Eloin, which is the parts of Chaya. Shahari Mekabel Narantki Shalom the Chaya gets a complete Narantki of Chaya, and also Narantki of Nefesh and Ruach, the Chaya, all of those aspects of Chaya, Nikroim Katnu Sheni. So let me read it again. I think I read it wrong. So let's say, Bekolha Inyan Zecha Naasigam also happens as parts of Chaya. Now you're getting Chaya. Shaharim Makabal Naranki Shalem, the Chaya gets a complete Naranki of Chaya. It's Nefesh Ruach, the Chaya, Nikroim Katnu Sheni. Shahare Aliyah Zu hi Aliyah Shnia. So this is the second time it's going. So it's called Katnu Sheni because it's getting it from Abba V'Ima Eloyin. V'Kevan Shemakabel Rak as a Nefesh V'Ruach Habre Zecha V'Katnu Sheni. So since all that it's getting at this point is those two aspects, that is the Nefesh and the Ruach, so it's called still by the name of Katnus, but it's the second iteration of Shefa. And therefore it's called Katnu Sheni because it's coming from the higher level, which is Abba Ve'ima Eloyin. Now when that level starts coming in, the Chaya, so he says, Yechida, the Chaya, so they get the Penemius of Chaya, Nikra Gadlu Sheni, that's Gadlu Sheni, because it's coming from where? It's coming from Yisrael Sabbat Tavuna, that's going to be, he means to say, Kashivakabalas on the Shama, Chai Yechida, the Chaya Nikras Gadlu Sheni, so you're getting the Penemius, that's going to be called Gadlu Sheni. Nimsa, Shanaranki, and the Shama Nikras Katnas Bagadlus, so the Naranki and the Shama can be called either Katnas or Gadlus. He says, Gadlus, or, excuse me, I'll read it better. He says like this, he says, Nimsa, Shanaranki, the Shama, Nikra Gadlus, it's called by the name of Gadlus Rishon. But the Ranti the Chaya, Nikra Katnas Gadlus Sheni. Shebekal Makom, Bo Madrega, on Nefesh V'Ruach Shebo Nikroim Katnas. Whatever level, if we're talking about Yechida, even, we say that the lowest level of that, which we only would get that, I guess, he's saying on Shavuos, he says that this also always refers to the Nefesh Ruach, that's Katnas. But on the Shama, when you get to the higher level, which is the Shama Chai Yechida, also known as Nechi, Shebo Nekroim Gadlos, and that is called Gadlos. V'chein B'chaliyah Shlishis, and also, so therefore, when the third level up, Shemakabel Me'erekam, parts of Yechida, that happens only at Shavuos. HaNefesh Ruach Shebo Nekroim Katna Shlishi, so that the Nefesh Ruach there are called the Katna Shlishi. V'chan the Shama Chai Yechida Shebo Nekroim Gadlos Shlishi, when we get to that place. And that's where we'll stop right here. That's the next shear over here. This is Baruch.